The Blues have signed a Wallabies speedster for next season, folks. Darby Lancaster is joining the Blues. Who is he? He's a 23-year-old, 6'2" winger who runs 10 meters a second. He's absolutely in the picture for Wallabies selection going forward, but he's coming to the Blues, which is not going to do his Wallabies selections any favors because eligibility rules for the Wallabies and for the All Blacks are pretty strict, but I think they should relax them. We'll go through a few of the possible benefits that I think could happen and some of the risks as a counterpoint, and you guys can let me know your thoughts. So who's Darby Lancaster? Like I said, he plays for the Force. One cap Wallaby, bags of potential, but with the Wallabies selection criteria the way it is, it's much easier to get selected for the Wallabies if you're based in Australia. He's going to move to the Blues, which is going to make it a more uphill battle for him. If you're in New Zealand, you've got no choice. You have to be playing for one of the New Zealand franchises to be eligible for the All Blacks. I think they should change that. I think it would potentially benefit youngsters, guys down the pecking order, some of the old boys, guys who just want to change the scenery. I feel like there's a lot of benefits. For Lancaster, why is he joining the Blues? Because he wants to become a better player. That is very admirable. He's potentially, as I said, sacrificing instant Wallabies caps. No guarantee, but a much better chance for a chance to become a better player over here in New Zealand. He wants to work with the New Zealand coaches. I think in particular Jason Holland, who's going to be the Blues coach next year. Darby has obviously seen what the Hurricanes have been doing because Jason Holland is the attack coach for the Hurricanes right now. Look how much action their wingers have been getting. So he wants to become a better player. So he's going to come over here to New Zealand. I don't feel like you should punish a guy for that if he's staying in Super Rugby. Like, you can understand it if guys go to Japan, if they go to Europe. Not only are the distances greater, but there's often a bit of a butting of heads between club and country's interests. You don't have that much in Super Rugby because we're going to be on the same schedule. There's not going to be any, well, you need to wait for the international window to be released by your club. That's not an issue if you're playing in Super Rugby. So I feel like that's one easy benefit right there. You could get other players like Darby Lancaster who want to test themselves against the best. If they can get signed by a club, let them sign. Let them still be internationally eligible. That is an admirable thing to want to do. Other guys might be just guys down the pecking order. Young guys, you're the 5th choice winger on your team. Potentially move across the ditch to a team which is lacking in players in that position. Have a breakout season. Maybe you get internationally selected. Currently, there's that barrier. Like, look at Caleb Tangitau. He was with the Blues. He was behind Caleb Clark and he was behind Mark Talia. What did he do? He moved to the Highlanders, became a first-choice player with them. Definitely would have been an All Black this year if not for his injury. You just open up more opportunities for that kind of thing if you open up Trans-Tasman eligibility. I don't feel like it's a big detriment. And then, like, there's other guys, senior guys sometimes move for family reasons. Like, I mean, Sonny Bill Williams ended up moving back to Australia once he retired from the game. Beauden Barrett left the Hurricanes, came to Auckland, I think largely because of family pressures. So imagine wanting to go to Sydney, big city. Imagine wanting to go to Brisbane, better weather than miserable Auckland. You know what I mean? There's a load of reasons guys might want to move, be it selection, be it improving themselves, be it working with a particular coach, playing with and training with some of the best players. There are loads of benefits for the players, for the teams, and just like for the parity of the competition. Like, there are some teams in this competition who are absolutely stacked full of talent, and others who, beyond that kind of starting 23, if they start to get injuries, they don't necessarily have the depth to go through the full season. You potentially alleviate some of that lack of depth by allowing a bit more freedom in player movement. Currently, teams, as I said, are very limited. Like, I think New Zealand teams are only allowed 3 kind of foreign player slots, which includes Australians. The Aussies are a bit more relaxed about that by selecting Kiwis, but still, if you open that up, I feel like there are benefits to both sides. Are there risks? For sure. I mean, there's potential a bunch of youngish Kiwi guys head over, potentially block the pathways of up-and-coming Aussie talent, but the whole adage about like iron sharpens iron, I think you're going to improve the quality overall of the competition by allowing kind of more free player movement. Is there a potential for a Kiwi guy to go live in Australia, stay there for 5 years and become a Wallaby? Yes, of course, but you've still got that same risk now. Like Charlie Gamble, has been over in Australia for a long time, could have been a potential Wallaby, playing for the Waratahs for as long as he did. He's a Kiwi, but if you allow them to be selected, even if they do perform well for the Waratahs for 4 years, you can cap them. You can select them for the All Blacks before that happens. So I feel like some of the risks are worth taking. It potentially papers over the cracks of grassroots issues, but you also, I feel like you increase interest in the competition overall. Like, how many New Zealanders are suddenly more interested in what's going on with Leinster since Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane signed for them? Quite a few. A lot of people wouldn't have even really registered that Leinster were doing anything until Rieko or Geordie were playing for them. Imagine if Ardie Savea went over to the Waratahs. Would people maybe stay up a bit later to watch Ardie play? That's the kind of interest levels that I'm talking about. Imagine if Fraser McCright came over and played for the Hurricanes or the Crusaders. That could be an interesting storyline in itself. So there are some benefits. There are some risks. Will it happen? I don't think so. It's a maybe, but I think it's still lowish chance. I think key point is New Zealand rugby and Aussie rugby, their priorities are not the same as Super Rugby's priorities. I think they still see Super Rugby as a feeder competition for the All Blacks and for the Wallabies, which I still feel like takes away from the casual fans' interest in the competition, because when you see guys, it's a rest week for Will Jordan. Will Jordan can't play this week because of his All Blacks duties. It just sends the message to people that Super Rugby is not important. Just wait for the All Blacks. So I think the risk is worth taking. There'd be opportunities for players to get that they might not otherwise have. Obviously, you can still move like Darby Lancaster's done right now, but it shouldn't be a kind of hindrance to your potential international selection. The guys who are going to go for money are still going to go. Like, if there's guys who are chasing the dollar, chasing the yen, the pounds, the euros, they're going to go either way. This is not going to really have a big impact on that, because I think the salaries across the Tasman are pretty comparable. But yeah, I feel like putting the interests of Super Rugby first can only be a good thing for the competition, potentially increase the parity across the competition. But maybe I'm just dreaming. Hopefully Darby goes well for the Blues. As I said, he's quick, he's a big dude, and he's made a call, which I would like to see more of. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel. Who would you like to poach? If you could pick one Aussie player to come to a Kiwi team, or vice versa, who would you like to see playing for your team? You guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See ya.